Yes, welcome back. Well, our next guest last joined us in March before we went into lockdown, and Liam Cunningham joins us again on the morning when the Chief Medical Officer has recommended a return to level 5 lockdown.
There's a bit of a pattern here. The Game of Thrones star is here to chat about how the arts industry has been impacted by the pandemic and to highlight the Irish charities responding to the global COVID-19 crisis. Liam, I'm not sure if we should welcome you here. What's happening? Are you a bad omen?
Well, since last March. Sure, nothing has happened since last March at all, has it?
Absolutely, no.
Are you reeling a bit this morning, or how are you reacting to this news that broke last night?
Look, it's depressing. No, it doesn't matter which way you look at it. My business is... the last time... Mine goes on even longer. The last time I was in front of a camera, well, apart from being in this lovely studio, was in Italy last December. So wow. I haven't done anything. I am directly affected by it. I have a son who's a chef, directly affected by it. So there's no... It's not like I'm up in me alleged ivory tower enjoying myself with this. I'm under a bit of pressure with it as well. It's not good news, but as we were saying, people have very short memories. If you look back at last March when we were talking about this, driving up along the quays and seeing field hospitals being set up and testing centres, and we had temporary morgues and all that sort of stuff, and we didn't have to use them because of the lockdown. So people have very, very short memories. The idea of those tents going up again along the side of the Liffey or whatever city or town you're in is a very scary thing, and it's horrifically difficult for businesses and the economy and to plan anything. And we seem not to be getting rewarded for our efforts. But when people are breaking the rules, look at the President of the United States, didn't follow the rules. So their numbers are going up over there, and it's not because of the lockdown, it's because people are not respecting what they've been asked to do, what they've been asked to sacrifice, and it is a sacrifice.
Yeah, well, you mentioned there the arts industry, you haven't been in front of camera in so long. But if there was another lockdown, how would people who are in the arts industry survive? Because, they're already struggling.
Yeah.
To think that they're going to have another 3 months.
Well, not only that, if you look at it's even the career choice of being in the arts is bordering on insanity.
Yeah.
There's only 2% of people in my game make a living from being in my game.
Let alone win the Oscars and live the red carpet lifestyle.
That's without a lockdown.
Yeah.
So it's incredibly difficult. A little while ago when it was a little easier, before we couldn't leave Dublin, I was in the back garden and somebody was playing music, and they normally perform in front of crowds. And they hadn't, obviously, for months, but they were like 30 feet away on a little makeshift stage. And I was looking, there was only a couple of people there. And I didn't realise how much I missed live music. I never thought about it.
Absolutely.
It was just something that was taken off me. But when I heard, being in even out in the air and a guy in a guitar, it was just so lovely to hear it. But people who, love the theatre, who love going, never mind the practitioners, but the audiences who love being in a crowd and appreciating.
So to not see that potential for another few months without that again is tough. It would be tough to stomach.
Luke O'Neill, there's lots of positive stuff going on, as we said about the lack of temporary morgues going up. Luke O'Neill said he has never seen a scientific community that has come together. He wakes up every morning to 10 or 20 papers, published papers, and these are all research people who are getting these little pieces of the jigsaw. The treatments are already coming. Trump is on an experimental drug that was manufactured by a company from Limerick. There's all that. There's all that positivity, and in the scientific world, things usually move very, very slowly. And he was saying within 6 months' time, we could, alongside the treatments, we could have a viable more than one vaccine. This is not the time to kind of go, oh, to hell with it. The last lockdown didn't work. Nobody expected it to disappear after lockdown. The thing is about containing it. Yeah. And if we need to bump up, I don't want to do it. Nobody wants to do it. The government don't want to tell people to do it. The scientific community don't want to tell. Nobody wants this, but it may be necessary.
Do you understand the anger from people, from businesses, from the private sector, though, when they look at NPHET and they just feel like you're out of touch. You're out of touch with what's going on.
How can you? This is ridiculous. if I had a broken leg, I'm not going to go and see a businessman to fix it. So why would I be going to talking to a businessman how to fix a medical problem? You go to the experts. These are immunologists. They're professors. They're the people in there.
But they
experts
don't
in their field.
understand business either.
If we start disregarding experts, it's catastrophe.
Yeah.
That's end of story. They are the experts. The amount of suffering that they have got to go through in their educations to reach this level of information and, all that sort of stuff. If we disregard that, where do we go to? We let the head of the Irish Vintners Association tell us how we should run COVID.
Yeah, because you said that you tweeted in response to the press up group, the action they're taking, you tweeted, is eating chicken wings in Temple Bar more important than a pandemic? Can you give us a background to that and why you felt you wanted to tweet that?
Well, this is exactly what do we open up, do we open up, let people get back to business? People's view, I mean, look, mine is the same. I'd be delighted to be in a fist fight in a movie.
Yeah.
Well, how could I do that? Because that's not important, but eating chicken wings in Temple Bar is.
And do you know when you'll work again? What were the plans that you had for
I've done a
year?
little bit of animation in the studio. The only bit that I've done during this was opening a door with no receptionist in a recording studio, and I went into as you know, when you're doing a voiceover or whatever, into a triple glazed booth on my own. Everything having been wiped down, and I've done. This may be exciting for people of your young age. I've been doing He-Man. Do you know He-Man? Masters of the Universe.
Yeah.
So that's coming back. That'll be on Netflix next year.
Animated He-Man, amazing.
Animated, yeah, with Mark Hamill.
Are you He-Man?
No, I'm his kind of best mate. I'm man at arms.
Oh, wow.
But Mark Hamill is in it, and all sorts of wonderful
fantastic.
people, and Lena Headey from Game of Thrones, and I think Sarah Michelle Gellar. There's a load of.
But probably you've never met them.
No,
this project.
I've never even acted with them. You kind of do your stuff in isolation.
How does the animation work? Do you hear their voices and it all gets mixed
You've
together?
got a script. And then you're with the director and the producers, and you talk through. Well, you've got the script. What the action is. There's a bit of imagination involved in it. Yeah, it's a bit tricky.
Okay, can you tell us about some of the charities though, that you're involved in fighting this pandemic?
Well, the Irish Emergency Alliance. Now, again, all these things are. If you have to put them in perspective, we're complaining. Not quite rightly complaining about having the possibility of doing a lockdown. Nobody wants it. Imagine yourself in a refugee camp with the Rohingya, or in South Sudan, which I was a couple of years ago, when your next door neighbours 1 foot away from you, and these wonderful 6 Irish charities are getting together with the great help of the Irish government as well, with Irish Aid, to try and provide medical facilities for people who have COVID in these refugee camps. Again, because of testing and tracing and our stuff that we're trying to get going here, nobody knows how bad COVID is in a lot of these places, and a lot of African and Asian countries. So the charities have got together to try and share the money, basically share the charity money, and it's very difficult for people. Especially, as I say, in the hospitality game and all that sort of stuff. But if anybody can give money, this is for protective, equipment, masks and all that sort of stuff, and get medical people out to try and contain.
I mean, that's it. So if they don't know the numbers, they don't know the impact.
It's even difficult to find out.
So this could be even bigger in the next year or so. Whenever the testing is done, deaths come, there's no face masks, no social distancing. Who knows what's going to happen there?
And it's however difficult it is for us, you can only imagine how difficult it is. And we're coming into winter as well.
Liam, it's been actually brilliant to hear your views on everything. I think you probably made more sense to a lot of people this morning who maybe were watching the news last night. So it's been brilliant to hear you.
No bother.
Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for getting me out of the house.
That's great.
I don't know how much longer we'll have guests for Liam.
Come on in
really
again
nice
next week and the week after and the week after that. It'd be great.
Now, still to come this morning, we are going to be chatting to the First Lady of Ireland AM, Amanda Byram, about fad diets, her battle with body image and her quest to find inner happiness.
And we'll take a quick break now, so don't go anywhere. See you in a few minutes.